Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang.
And I'm Adrian Arsenault. Tonight, a new travel warning for Canadians to stay home just days before Christmas. Omicron climbs across Canada and surges in Ontario.
This freight train is barreling at us very quickly. You can blunt the impact.
Is the province doing enough to contain it?
Also, the growing demand for rapid tests.
Why it's taken so long, I have no idea.
A key tool in fighting COVID that not everyone can easily get.
4 years after the shocking murders of a Canadian billionaire couple, a new lead.
This individual is a suspect.
The mystery suspect spotted on camera.
And 1 year after the first shot in a Canadian arm,
I want COVID to go away forever and never come back.
the kids stepping up to get vaccinated. This is The National. Well, we have breaking news for you tonight. The Omicron variant is moving rapidly, and so are events.
CBC News has learned that the federal government will announce tougher border measures and issue an advisory against all non-essential foreign travel just ahead of the holidays. So that could be just the beginning. The Prime Minister held a call with premiers tonight on what to do about the new variant, and here's why. Canada's average daily new cases started rising weeks ago, but in just the past 10 days, the rate has jumped about 45%. The surge overwhelmingly driven by Quebec and Ontario. Take a closer look at Ontario. Just 4 days ago, the estimate was 10% of the cases were Omicron. Now it's more than 30%. And at this rate, Omicron could overtake Delta as the dominant variant by the end of the week. All that informing a decision from Ottawa tonight on travel. Our chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton, working her sources, of course. Rosie, what have you learned?
Well, multiple sources have told our bureau, Adrian, that the travel advisory for Canadians is expected to be raised to avoid all non-essential international travel. So that's the second highest level it can be. It's essentially the advisory that was lifted back in October after being in place all the way from March of 2020. Sources also tell us that there were other stronger measures that were discussed with the premiers in a call tonight, including whether to implement a ban on all non-essential foreign travelers into Canada, including the United States. They also discussed stricter quarantine and testing measures for non-essential travelers who are allowed into Canada. So that would be Canadian citizens, permanent residents, regardless of what country they were coming from. No decision was reached on those two issues, we are told. The concern here, obviously, Adrian, is the spread of Omicron. Increasing Canada's response to the variant is important, slowing down the spread of the virus to reduce overall travel. There was widespread agreement on that call that community transmission is the primary concern right now. The premiers and the Prime Minister talked about the priority for containing the virus to be increasing vaccination overall and the speed at which booster shots are being administered. So for now, while the travel advisory has changed if you're considering leaving the country, when you return to the country, the way things stand right now, Adrian, is you will be either randomly tested with a PCR test, although the government says all travelers should eventually expect to be tested, and then you are expected to go home and self-isolate until you get the results of those tests. So that is what is in place right now. But again, the travel advisory going up another level to try and discourage travel for Canadians.
All right, that's a lot. We'll be listening for more details. Thank you, Rosie.
Thanks.
Now, hospitalizations in Ontario are already starting to trend up. The province's top doctor today clear about a coming storm. But as Ellen Morrow shows us, less clear at this point is what the province plans to do about it.
Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kieran Moore, called Omicron a game changer.
Because it spreads so quickly, we're anticipating a potential impact on our healthcare system.
But the province's play has largely stayed the same. Besides more protections at long-term care homes, the Ontario government did not announce any new measures. So far, no accelerated third doses, no further restrictions, despite days of warnings from healthcare workers.
This freight train is barreling at us very quickly.
Our systems are already stressed during Christmas, and we do not need an additional stress like this to add on top of that.
Moore was asked why Ontario isn't acting faster.
I do believe there will be a discussion in the coming days about what additional measures we may need, if any.
So with this spreading so rapidly, a lot of people, I think, will be hoping that you come out with that soon.
Respirologist Samir Gupta is one of them.
We are very worried about this being inundated with people with COVID who are sick, who are, backfilling up our ICUs and our hospitals.
The province is asking Ontarians to reduce their contacts while allowing them to attend full-capacity stadium events. A confusing message, says Gupta.
It's like at earlier phases of this pandemic where the government is not taking the steps it needs to take.
Moore was the top doctor in the Kingston region throughout most of the pandemic when the area was a COVID success story. But he does not have the final call on Ontario's COVID policy.
At the end of the day, it's government that makes these decisions. It's not the Chief Medical Officer of Health.
Moore hinted at further announcements, and one is expected from Premier Doug Ford on Wednesday about the province's rollout of third doses. The Premier is set to meet with his cabinet in the morning. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, infectious diseases specialist Dr. Susie Hoda is here to fill in some of the blanks for us. So, Dr. Hoda, an expected announcement on third doses, but tell me, what more would you have liked to see being done? What needs to be done here?
Well, I think there are a couple of things that really need to be done right now. First of all, we absolutely need to accelerate the third dose rollout across the country. In Ontario, where right now we're really seeing Omicron take off, we need to get third doses into everybody who could be over the age of 18, because this can affect all of us. And taking the previous approach of sort of a stratified age related approach no longer is valid. We're not talking just about waning immunity. We're talking about 2 doses not providing enough protection, and that third dose really increasing the protection for Omicron. So that's one big thing.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the other thing, though, is that's not going to hit us or help us quickly enough. So we really do need to put in some restrictions in terms of, public health measures. That's capacity restrictions, limiting the number of social contacts that people will have to get us through what is likely to happen in the next few weeks.
And what about what we just heard about from Rosie? I mean, at a federal level, what appears to be this emphasis on travel advisories, potentially travel bans, stricter quarantine and testing measures. Do those kinds of things go the distance?
Testing definitely can help because it allows us to have an early detection system for cases and isolate people promptly. In terms of travel-related restrictions at this stage, we're seeing community transmission in many parts of Ontario, where I can see what's happening really very clearly. And I think that that's going to have limited utility. The path has already been set. We're going to see the cases rise from here based on community transmission.
Okay, Dr. Hoda, thank you so much. And we are going to have you back on the program a little bit later to talk about Omicron's trajectory and how it affects holiday planning. So don't go anywhere.
So Omicron is highly transmissible. That much is pretty clear, but more data is also coming in about how it fares against vaccines. Vicadopia has the implications for hospitals and the holidays.
The pandemic pushed Christmas dinner outside last year for Chris Chubbs' family. And Omicron will likely do that again.
The way things are going this week, every day seems to be things going exponentially to the bad.
The World Health Organization warns Omicron is spreading at a rate not seen before.
Vaccines alone will not get any country out of this crisis.
Indeed, the latest population data from South Africa suggests the Pfizer vaccine is less effective against Omicron. For double vaccinated people, protection from hospitalization for COVID-19 fell from 93% during Delta to 70% for Omicron. And protection against getting infected also dropped from 80% to just 33%.
Yet experts say in Canada, vaccine effectiveness may be different because of mixing doses, which were given farther apart, resulting in a better immune response. And now boosters are being rolled out.
All of that's going to play a role and potentially confound our ability to truly understand vaccine effectiveness within the Canadian population.
Even so, the rate at which cases of Omicron is doubling in some places is a warning.
More cases mean that vulnerable people who could get quite sick from even a less virulent virus are going to end up in hospital.
But a new potential treatment might help. Yet to be released trial data for Pfizer's antiviral Paxlovid shows it dramatically cut the risk of hospitalization or death in infected adults deemed high risk. Health Canada is already reviewing the drug for approval.
It's certainly encouraging news that it provides essentially 90% reduction in hospitalization.
Until we know more about Omicron, it seems no precaution is too much. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
And speaking of precautions, health experts say Canada must accelerate the use of rapid testing, as other countries have done. Ottawa has distributed tens of millions of kits to provinces, but depending on where you live, access is still very uneven. Here's Julia Wong.
Unlike last year, Edmonton's Leonard Ratzlaff will celebrate the holidays with family. But for safety, he plans to take a rapid antigen test first.
I think it would make me feel more safe.
And he won't be alone. Albertans will soon be able to pick up free take-home rapid tests. Quebec will start handing out rapid tests Monday. BC will provide them, but not until the new year.
I think that's one of the things that we will be planning for and will be distributing.
But they lag behind other provinces. Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia have handed out tests for weeks. In fact, libraries in Halifax quickly ran out due to high demand. But rapid tests are still hard to access and book in Canada's biggest province, frustrating some Ontario health experts.
It doesn't make sense to me that these tests aren't more widely available.
Rapid tests are simple to use. You swab yourself and get a result in about 15 minutes. They may be fast, but Canada has been slow to fully embrace them. Other countries like the UK have been doling out rapid tests for some time.
Why it's taken so long, I have no idea.
But doctors warn they are not 100% reliable.
There's slightly higher risk of false positive or false negative test results, meaning they're not as accurate as the tests that you'll get at the lab.
Nonetheless, experts say they can help minimize risk before gatherings like over the holidays.
So if you're going to see family A, then you go see family B, rapid test again before you see family B. And then if you're going to go back to see family A again, you should rapid swab at that time again as well.
As for Ratzlaff, he's seeing family in BC and will be taking the rapid tests with him. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
The shadow of Omicron loomed over Ottawa today as the government announced $60 billion in new spending in its fall economic update. About half of that is to keep up the fight against COVID. There is also $5 billion to help rebuild BC and other places hit by natural disasters, and more than $24 billion to benefit First Nations children. Now, here's Travis Danraj with more on the government's priorities and the opposition response.
COVID-19 is the big unknown when it comes to Canada's economy right now.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Also the reason Krista Freeland delivered her fiscal update virtually, isolating out of an abundance of caution after 2 of her staffers tested positive.
21 months ago, a global pandemic reached our shores.
Now, a wave of Omicron, the government setting money aside for potential lockdowns and border restrictions.
We are provisioning an additional $4.5 billion to pay for possible further costs of fighting Omicron and other COVID-19 surges.
That money part of $29 billion in additional pandemic supports. It includes $7 billion for vaccines and PPE, $1.7 billion for more rapid tests, $2 billion toward new treatments for COVID-19. With many return to office plans on hold, an extension of the tax deduction for home office expenses, now increased to $500. Also in the update, a one-time cash payment for seniors whose guaranteed income supplement payments were clawed back because they accepted COVID benefits.
Canada has largely recovered from the economic damage inflicted by COVID-19.
While strong job growth and revenues have helped the economy overall and the deficit is down slightly, the pain of inflation at grocery stores and gas pumps is palpable.
Canadian family budgets are strained to the max, and Mr. Trudeau is benefiting from inflation. There's no plan in this economic statement to fight inflation.
The lack of urgency and the lack of a response to deal with what people are dealing with right now, to respond to their worries, is why this fiscal update is really a failure.
This update is simply a snapshot of what the government says is needed right now. As the scale and severity of the pandemic shifts, it is unclear what further measures could be needed to weather the storm that is COVID-19. Travis Stanrash, CBC News, Ottawa.
And one more note on this. The government has budgeted an extra $85 million next year to speed up the immigration process after the pandemic brought it to a virtual halt. And $1.3 billion is being allocated over 6 years to help resettle 40,000 Afghans and their families in Canada. The government has said it is especially committed to helping those who aided Canada's mission in Afghanistan.
All right, let's turn now to some other news with an update on one of the most high-profile crimes in recent Canadian memory. 4 years after the mysterious double murder of a Canadian pharmaceutical titan and his wife, investigators have a suspect. Today, Toronto police released this footage of a person walking near the home of Barry and Honey Sherman on the night they are believed to have been killed. Now, police want the public's help to identify this person in the hope of finally getting closer to the truth. Here's Greg Ross with what we learned today and what it means for this complicated case.
Police say this 22-second video clip could be the key to solve a 4-year-old double murder. A person seen walking along a sidewalk not far from the Sherman's home.
This individual is a suspect.
Barry and Honey Sherman were found dead at their home on December 15, 2017, hanging near this indoor pool with belts around their necks.
At this point, indications are that we have no outstanding suspect to be going after.
Initially, police hinted at a possible murder-suicide, a theory the Sherman family refused to believe. Eventually, police concluded the Shermans were targeted and murdered. The couple were worth billions. Barry, the founder of drug maker Apotex, his wife Honey, a well-known philanthropist. 4 years later, it's the first time police have pointed to a suspect, but based on the video, they can't say if it's a man or woman.
We are not able to provide you with any certainty the person's age, weight, or skin color.
But there is one detail police hope someone might recognize.
It is our hope that someone will come forward with a name when they recognize the individual's walk, the way in which they kick up their right foot with every step. This individual walks into that area, does not continue to walk through, but remains in that area that's not covered by video footage, and then comes back out sometime later.
Police wouldn't say if they have any other evidence connecting this person to the couple, but this expert says the fact that they are referring to them as a suspect rather than a person of interest suggests they may know more.
But it's actually quite significant and indicates that police strongly believe that this person had knowledge or direct involvement in these murders.
The biggest development for some time in this mysterious, unsolved crime. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, a CBC News investigation has found dozens of Canadians arrested in relation to public intoxication who then died behind bars. Now, families are searching for answers, wanting to find out why their loved ones were sent to jail instead of to the hospital. Caroline Bargut reports.
He always said to everyone that you'll be okay.
Jeremy Edaway-Campo wonders if his dad would still be alive if he found him sleeping on the street instead of police one night in October 2019. John Edaway-Campo had been drinking and passed out in the northern Manitoba town of The Pas. RCMP took the 54-year-old to their detachment, where he was placed in a cell to sleep it off.
A report into Edaway-Campo's death says he may have accidentally been smothered after another man in the cell rolled onto him while sleeping. It's not clear if guards had been checking on them properly.
It really hurts driving around here and not seeing him anymore.
A CBC News investigation has found since 2010, 61 Canadians have died after being taken into police custody related to public intoxication. Half of them occurred in RCMP detachments. In 17 cases, a person died after their medical condition was downplayed or ignored. 13 had not been adequately monitored by police officers or guards.
They didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Jeanette Rogers' son Corey died in June 2016, shortly after being jailed by Halifax police for public intoxication. He was picked up outside a hospital where he'd been visiting his newborn daughter. Police say Rogers spit at officers, so they put a spit hood on him. They didn't take it off when they placed him in a cell. Within hours, Rogers choked on his vomit and died.
Alcoholism is an illness, it's not a crime, and it certainly shouldn't be punishable by death.
This lawyer says enough is enough.
If we don't see there be any consequences for this type of apathy or laziness, then it's going to continue.
RCMP say they welcome housing alternatives for intoxicated people, but in a statement to CBC News said in many communities, police detachments are the only places available.
I miss him.
Jeremy Edaway-Campo says intoxicated people do not belong in jail cells and should be taken to hospital instead. Caroline Bargood, CBC News, The Pas.
Hundreds of parents and students took to the streets in Chelsea, Quebec to support a teacher who was removed from her classroom last week for wearing a hijab.
I hope Miss 15 feels like she's not alone because everyone cares, like not everyone, but most people care, and that she's not alone in this.
In Quebec, public sector workers cannot wear religious symbols on the job. That law, known as Bill 21, passed in 2019. It's facing court challenges. Critics call it unfair and discriminatory.
Well, thousands more people have been affected by that cyber attack that hit Newfoundland and Labrador's healthcare system more than a month ago.
Fortunately, patient registration information that would have been collected across the province as part of COVID testing are part of the breach at Eastern Health.
Officials say social insurance numbers of more than 2,500 patients were stolen. More employee data than previously thought was also compromised. Authorities are investigating and notifying those who were affected.
Newly released text messages reveal the panic during the siege on Capitol Hill from some of those closest to Donald Trump.
One of the president's sons texted Mr. Meadows, he's got to condemn this ASAP.
Next on The National, what we now know was happening behind the scenes that day.
1 year ago, they were among the first Canadians to get a COVID vaccine. But what does Omicron mean for the elderly?
I think the message I really want to be known is it just didn't have to be like this.
And a big surprise for a group of kids who just wanted to thank BC's truck drivers.
They were so excited when that truck pulled into the parking lot.
We're back in 2.
A fuel tanker blast killed more than 60 people in northern Haiti, with dozens more left injured. The vehicle was involved in an accident and overturned. Many of the victims are said to have been trying to gather leaking fuel when the truck ignited. The Prime Minister has declared 3 days of national mourning. In the United States, a massive cleanup effort is underway after deadly tornadoes tore through parts of the Midwest over the weekend. Officials in hard-hit Kentucky say a 2-month-old is now among the 74 confirmed deaths. Just one of the children lost in the storm.
12 of the 74 are children, and there are unquestionably more than 100 people that are still unaccounted for.
State officials say thousands of homes have been lost, with many more damaged to the point of being uninhabitable.
We are getting a clearer picture of what was happening in the White House last January as the U.S. Capitol was attacked. New text messages from high-profile Trump supporters paint a picture of just how aware the president's chief of staff was about the violence unfolding. Susan Ormiston takes us through it.
Our Capitol! Our Capitol!
In the chaos of January 6th, Donald Trump's former chief of staff was getting frantic text messages from Republican lawmakers.
It is really bad up here on the Hill. Another one, the president needs to stop this ASAP.
The January 6th House Committee is urging Mark Meadows be criminally charged for contempt of Congress. He cooperated at first, turning over 9,000 pages of documents, including over 2,000 text messages, including from those closest to Trump, begging Meadows to get the president to call off the riot.
Donald Trump Jr., we need an Oval Office address. He has to lead now. It has gone too far and gotten out of hand. Meadows responding, I'm pushing it hard, I agree.
Fox News hosts like Laura Ingraham were urgently texting Meadows about Trump.
This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy.
Meadows is refusing to be questioned by the committee. risking a criminal case against him.
It's disappointing, but not surprising. And let's be clear about this, Sean. This is not about me holding me in contempt. This is about Donald Trump and about actually going after him once again.
We cannot surrender to President Trump's efforts to hide what happened.
With that, a House majority voted to recommend the Department of Justice charge Mark Meadows. Just as it did with former senior advisor Steve Bannon, who now faces a trial in July. Outside of the political investigation, D.C.'s Attorney General today sued two right-wing groups, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, alleging they conspired, recruited, and plotted to terrorize the Capitol. Over 700 Americans have been arrested for their part in the violence January 6th. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Washington.
Well, as Omicron continues to spread, there are signs Canadians may soon need to make tough decisions once again. So next, we're going to bring in the doctors for what you need to know about this variant right now, especially ahead of the holidays. Welcome back. It might be hard to believe, but today marks 1 year since the first COVID vaccine was administered in Canada. We've come a long way, but as Alison Northcott tells us, with Omicron, there is an awful lot of uncertainty, especially for those most vulnerable who first rolled up their sleeves.
Residents at this long-term care home were among the first in Canada to get their COVID-19 vaccines.
I feel fabulous.
That was Gloria Laluz a year ago. Now she's had 3 doses and many of her loved ones are vaccinated too.
My kids are vaccinated and my granddaughter's vaccinated, so it's more, now with 2 feet on the ground.
But a year later, there are new risks.
Now, with Omicron having the potential risks of evading the vaccine and the response to the vaccine is worrisome for sure.
This doctor works in long-term care and says even though many residents have had 3 doses, some could still be vulnerable to Omicron.
What we want to do basically to protect the most vulnerable is prevent community transmission. And how do we do that is basically by vaccinating people to make sure they're well protected, and in a way as well by adding some preventative measures.
That's what Ontario is doing in its long-term care homes.
All general visitors will need to be fully vaccinated to enter a long-term care home.
There will also be more staff testing and inside a limit of 2 visitors per resident.
I'd like to have had our family, to get the grandkids and the great-grandkids.
It's forced Karen Palmer to change plans for a family gathering at her father's long-term care home and left her frustrated the province didn't get boosters to more people faster.
I think the message I really want to be known is it just didn't have to be like this.
Dr. Samir Sinha says the new rules are an important barrier, but says so are 3rd doses, especially for staff.
Older adults aren't necessarily as responsive to the vaccine. And that's why we need to really look at the importance of getting everybody around them vaccinated, and not just with 2 doses, but also 3 doses wherever possible.
He hopes that could help keep cases among those most vulnerable under control. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal. So here to talk about what the next couple of weeks might look like, infectious diseases specialist Dr. Susie Hoda and Dr. Peter Juni, the scientific director of Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table. Hello to the both of you. I guess, Dr. Hoda, if we can start right in with you, what do you think a lot of people still aren't processing about Omicron, and what are they not getting about this moment we're all in?
I think there are 2 things that people don't necessarily get yet. First, I'm not sure people understand just how quickly this can hit us. Omicron has a doubling time of 2 to 3 days. By the time it starts to take off, we can see a near vertical ascension in cases if we don't do anything to stop it. And so that's why it's important to recognize it now. The second thing is I keep hearing people talk about this causing milder illness. We don't have to worry about the case counts anymore. First of all, I don't think we know that for certain. We're still learning about severity of illness. And second of all, even if it does cause less severe illness in Delta, if we're seeing a lot of cases, we're going to see more hospitalizations and bad outcomes and have, to deal with that.
Right. So, Dr. Juni, what are we saying here? I mean, how bad does this get? Realistically, what is the worst case scenario here?
Well, I can tell you for Ontario, right now we have roughly 600 cases per day of Omicron. And since this doubles every 2 to 3 days, we could be way above 10,000 cases per day before New Year's Eve. That's the challenge we're talking about. And at that time, our ICUs could start to struggle already here in Ontario.
And it's that strain. That is the most terrifying thought of all of this.
Exactly. No, that's the challenge we have. Our healthcare system will be overwhelmed. Even if this is a little bit milder, it can't be much biologically speaking, then we still struggle because cases are really growing explosively.
So as we listen to all of you talk about this in sort of the big picture, I know that there are people at home saying, I hear you, but what am I supposed to do in the next few weeks? What happens to my plan? So can we game that out, Dr. Hoda? A plan for meeting with people who are double vaxxed or even triple vaxxed over Christmas. Would you feel comfortable doing that, being in that room?
I mean, I think gatherings can happen, but it's maybe going to look a little bit differently from what you originally intended. First of all, get your booster dose if you're eligible to get it. Please do. Or if you haven't been vaccinated yet, please go ahead and get vaccinated with your first and second dose, and then third when it's time. But, I think that with measures in place, you might have to do smaller gatherings. You might not be able to do all gatherings that you initially wanted to. Keep them shorter. Think about doing some outdoors, being in well-ventilated spaces. Rapid testing before you do some of the gatherings so that you know what people's status is, and have the conversations in advance. So everyone knows about vaccination status. They can opt out if they want to. It's about people's risk tolerance as well. So it's negotiations on that front. And by all means, if you are symptomatic or you think you might be coming down with symptoms, do not attend these gatherings. So I think if we put some of these rules into places, we could at least mitigate that risk and avoid getting into a situation where, you have lots of contacts and you can have a big outbreak.
Very briefly, Dr. Uni, to that point about rapid tests, what caution do you attach to them? I mean, can you make a mistake with them, for example?
Oh, you absolutely can. You can also make a mistake with a pregnancy test. So first of all, here the problem is you need to sample properly in your nose. You just can't do this just as a tokenism. You really need enough material. And you can also just make mistakes with the performance. We know that the sensitivity decreases a bit if it's non-professionals doing them. So you can't be completely sure, but it's a good way forward to use rapid tests in certain situations. But keep gathering small. You can't exclude everything.
And Dr. Uni, just to continue that point, I mean, in terms of the timing of when you should get the rapid test or when you should administer it, I mean, as soon as possible to the event that you're about to attend, certainly, but how far after exposure, I mean, would you need to wait in order for that test to be reliable?
So first of all, what is important when you attend a meeting or something and you want the rapid test to be helpful, you do it immediately before the meeting because you want the status right now, what's happening right now with me. And if the viral load is high enough, then if you do the test well, then it will be positive and oops, I have a problem. And if it's negative, if you did it well, then you ruled out that you're infectious right now.
And what about between gatherings? Because I'm thinking if you rapid test and go to one event, and then the very next morning you rapid test, you go to the other event. Is that sound?
Yeah, well, again, the challenge is what you want to do is just when you enter the door and just go to the meeting to make sure that you're not infectious right now. And rapid tests, they seem to work still with Omicron. They must work, but we validate that right now, as we speak. They will basically show you the situation right now. Is the viral load high enough that your test gets positive? This would also mean the viral load is high enough that you actually can infect other people, and you're interested in figuring out exactly that.
Dr. Hoda, would we be in this situation if everyone who is eligible for a vaccine had gotten one?
I mean, it's difficult for us to predict what it would look like if everyone got a vaccine. I think we have to think of this as a global situation. So that's the other important point, is variants will continue to rise if we don't have everyone vaccinated across the world, if we're not doing everything possible to prevent across the world. So it is a global issue. And, I don't think that we can think of this in isolation, country by country. Of course, we want to protect our population as best as possible, but it's impossible to end this without thinking about it holistically.
And Dr. Uni, I just want to get your bottom line on all of this, because at a couple of points now during this conversation, we've talked about the severity of Omicron, or at least what we know about the severity of Omicron. And yet, so many people that I speak to still believe that it is about as severe as the common cold. What would you say to those folks?
Well, it's simply not true. You can just stay with your wishful thinking. It's simply not true. The data we have right now, but the best data comes from Denmark, same risk of hospitalization as with previous variants. The data from South Africa may show that if you have the situation of South Africa, young people, low average age of 27 years old, most of them already once infected, more than 90% were infected. And a lot of people have good immunity because they also received vaccines, 35% or so. In this situation, it may be slightly less severe, but this can't be extrapolated to our situation. We're much older. We haven't had many infections, luckily enough. And we have a large pool of people who have never seen infection and never seen a vaccine needle.
All right, Dr. Uni, Dr. Hoda, as always, thank you again for your insights.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
When we come back, a huge pandemic milestone for a little girl and her family.
I want COVID to go away forever and never come back.
No kidding. We are there as she rolls up her sleeve to get the vaccine. Why it means so much to them, right after the break. Welcome back. The push to get more children across the country vaccinated continues. In some regions, those between 5 and 11 account for some of the highest rates of COVID-19. Nationally, about 17% of that age group have received at least one dose of the vaccine, and less than 1% are fully vaccinated. For those who are still dealing with the long-term effects of COVID, vaccines can't come soon enough. Bonnie Allen shows us the story of a family whose lives were turned entirely upside down.
Which arm do you want?
Nervous but determined, 7-year-old Cedar Hurley gets her first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Good job. I want COVID to go away forever and never come back.
It's a turning point for the family, says her mother.
Cookies.
Yeah, Christmas cookies.
A nurse, Andrea Hurley, brought the virus home from work a year ago.
Mostly I saw it as an inconvenience. We're all healthy in the house. We'll get through these 14 days and get back on with life.
But then things took a turn. In a series of interviews, the family shared with us how Cedar started to lose her hair.
And it started falling out here. It all fell out.
Months of doctor's appointments and blood work revealed the girl had an unusual autoimmune response to COVID-19. At the same time, her mom was hospitalized. Andrea had a lesion on her brainstem. Medical files say it was likely a small stroke related to COVID-19.
I would never, ever imagine to be under 40 and have a stroke.
At one point, Andrea almost died in hospital.
And I remember seeing my daughter's faces, and I was not ready.
Today, Andrea is getting stronger, and Cedar's hair is growing back. She would have been first in line for the pediatric vaccine, but she had to recover from a cold first. Many families aren't eager enough, says this doctor.
I think we're seeing perhaps a bit more hesitancy than we might have actually expected, quite frankly. So we obviously still have a lot of work to do.
Andrea and Cedar have more work to do, too, in their recovery.
It's been a lot of stress. But we're lucky, we're very lucky, because there's a lot of people who have come out of this a lot worse.
And Cedar is a trooper. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan.
Trooper indeed. Okay, up next, the Canadians honored for their life-saving split-second decisions.
I got out of the car, ran over to the guy, and without asking too many questions, I just grabbed him, pulled him off the ledge.
Celebrating stories of Canadian bravery right after the break.
I'm Anastasia Busas, host of Player's Own Voice, the podcast where athletes come to share their experiences and perspectives. Get the real story in the Player's Own Voice, available with CBC Listen and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Jamie Posto, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, the hilarious, dark, and fascinating world of HBO's Succession, and how it's more than just a hit show, it's a cultural phenomenon. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. You're about to see how the right circumstances can turn almost anyone into a hero. This week, a number of Canadians were honored by the Governor-General for their spontaneous acts of bravery. We asked two of them to tell us about that split second when they decided to risk their own life for someone else's safety.
On March 6, 2018, in Montreal, Quebec, Christopher McManus Lawson saved a man in distress who was attempting to jump from an overpass above a highway.
I got out of the car, ran over to the guy, and without asking too many questions, I just grabbed him, pulled him off the ledge. We laid down on the sidewalk. I kind of had to wrap my arms around him and legs to try and keep him down. Then we were kind of just wrestling on the ground for a while, and I was trying to ask him, what's going on. He was fighting me off, saying that he couldn't live with whatever it is or whatever it was that he had done. I didn't want to focus on that subject. So I was trying to remind him that if he did jump off that ledge, that he was going to be, hurting a lot of people. His friends, family are going to feel terrible. I'm going to feel terrible as well. It was just an instinct. As soon as I saw somebody about to kill themselves, it was just a split-second decision. I assessed the situation very quickly, and I just thought that I could help this particular situation, just being in the right place at the right time, the right person for that moment. I think that anybody would have done the same thing. The ceremony today was nice. I hope it just raises awareness for maybe suicide prevention, or I hope it inspires people to take action if they see something is wrong with somebody else, or if they have a feeling that something's wrong. Don't hesitate, go help whoever it is that needs help. And I hope it just inspires people to do good things in life.
December 24th, 2017, I was coming back with my snowmobile, and my friend was doing an ice bridge, and her wife told me that he slipped it while he fell in the ice with his tractor. So I couldn't really believe it, but until I went down and couldn't see anyone, couldn't see anything, just water. So it was frozen. It was like minus 25 degrees, I think, that day. At some point, the adrenaline kicked in, and I jumped in and tried to find him. He was in the tractor, so I managed to pull him out, and I pushed him on the ice, and I started to push him in the chest CPR or whatever. So I was doing it with my hands. My fingers were frozen, so anyways, I did it for a couple minutes, and he started throwing up and coming back. He's my neighbor, so and he's a good friend of mine, so I said I need to do something, at least try, so that's it. I tried and it worked out. Yeah, today's ceremony was good, and it felt good to be appreciated for that, and yeah, it was a nice ceremony.
Extraordinary instincts from extraordinary Canadians. Coming up, a thoughtful gesture from BC students to flood-weary truckers. Their big thank you and the surprise they got in return. That's next in our moment. You are looking at some grade 2 and 3 students from Kelowna, BC, who watched the terrible impact from the floods in that province, and they wanted to help, especially help those truckers driving difficult roads to keep supplies stocked. So they made Christmas cards for the essential workers, a special thank you for all they did this year. And in exchange, one big surprise from the truckers. That's our moment.
A few weeks ago, with all of the landslides and flooding in BC and a lot of the road closures, we were talking about what kind of impact that was going to have on the interior and getting things from Vancouver. So to be able to travel on those roads, they're risking their lives for us to bring us the things that we need every day. And the kids were just really taken by that. I gave them the cardstock, they cut them into hearts, they made semi-trucks, and we wrote their cards into there and then sealed them up into a big envelope and sent them off all together. They were so excited when that truck pulled into the parking lot. We were all waiting outside with our big banner that said, "Welcome truckers." And then they pulled up and they honked the horn, this giant, like bright green, sparkly, brand new semi-truck. So they got to climb aboard, they got to see the inside of the giant semi. And it really was the best way to start their last week before Christmas break. Just a really exciting, fun, happy time.
No kidding. And a big shout out to the teacher there, Darian Tattersall. Forgive me if I'm saying your name incorrectly. That's what a good teacher is, right? Taking a moment in time and helping the kids connect to it. They must be so tired, and yet they go on and on and on.
Yeah, talk about a hands-on learning experience, right? I mean, everything from making of the Christmas cards to climbing inside that cab and seeing, how truckers spend their time in a lot of cases where they live, where they eat, where they sleep. Pretty cool. That's the National for this December 14th. Have a great night.
Good night.